was in Gravenhollow. The party was, I believe, you guys had gone to the archives of the past or present. I believe it was present. And you guys were originally going to look for information on Kosturkis. Seeing his echo, he did alleviate that slightly. I do not recall what you used your actual question of the day for.
We were looking for where Droki is, and we found out he's in a place called the Filth Ridden. I got notes.
You got notes?
Very nice.
Kosturkis didn't take them, and so neither did Mal.
But now, yeah. So that is correct. So here that was your quote unquote one for the day. And it doesn't have to be one of those situations where you guys have to use one each day, then spend an hour role playing. You can. I do not mind if you do, but the one per day is intended to have you use, to think outside of just present or past or future, to look at ways to approach it from each day. But if you need to do 2 from the past or what have you, that you guys can spend time here. Time is different here anyways. The present being used up, you now have 1 from the future, 1 from the present. The past. So at that point, you're going to be moving to see what it is you guys want to do.
Uh-oh.
I don't. What was that all about? I started music, but did we lose somebody? 1, 10. No, everybody's here. Maybe my music went wonky. Who knows?
I can hear it.
We got a little library music, peaceful bells and whatnot. So that's where we're going to be. You guys are...
Oh, we lost Tyler and they're back.
Dun, dun, dun. They have returned.
It's a good. Okay, sorry. Let's continue.
It's a good. So yes, you guys are going to be able to choose where to go next. As I said, you're not required. You can absolutely skip some if you want to, but it's up to you what direction you want to take it. Let me know.
So to confirm, we have we can ask 3 questions a day: 1 from the future, 1 from the past, 1 from the present. Right?
That is correct.
But if we get more of these stone speaker crystals, we can ask more than 1 question, I believe.
But we wouldn't know how to get more, would we?
Well, we could probably try talking to Ermas or Ustova. Because
they may not be as willing to cooperate with us.
Yes. We were told that they might be less patient with us.
Let's see. Well, don't forget why we originally came here. We came here to figure out a way to stop the demon lords, and also we're on a quest to find that what that thing?
The labyrinth.
Well, not just the labyrinth, but whatever it was that
the
Beholder
maze
wanted.
engine.
The maze engine, yes.
Maze engine. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
Because the sooner we find out information about that, the sooner we can get back to the Beholder, and I can rescue my family.
Ooh, family. And then we lose Spirit.
Yeah, I'd probably retire her as a character.
Ben plays his entire family all at once.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, yeah, I don't relish the idea of trying to juggle 3 characters at once, so I'd probably be retiring Spirit and bringing in someone else new. Not that I would have a problem with that, but you know.
We all sit and watch as you roleplay as 3 different characters talking to each other.
I meant no
You know-
problem bringing in a different character.
You know my pain.
Yeah.
I think you could do it, Ben.
I definitely think you can do it.
I mean, I don't have a, you know, it's not that I can't do it. It'd just be real awkward trying to roleplay with myself. Especially portraying a married couple and their child.
Be hilarious.
So, we obviously want to find out specifically that first point. Or maybe it's not the first point, but that point. Worth knowing where, like, how the demons got through.
That sounds like a good question for the past.
Yeah, using one of our past questions to be like, how did the demon lords cross into our plane?
Mm-hmm.
Although they may not have much knowledge because they did give us the crystal because we told them about like what was happening. But worth a shot.
Right, yeah. So I'm pretty sure he said something about only if they know about it. So if they don't know about the demons, they not be able to share information.
Oh, maybe we could look into the future and see how we or somebody beats them, right? Is that how time travel works?
One possible future.
Fucking ask about.
We might see how it happens, but we won't see how we get there.
I'm sure that's fine.
Might not even be us.
I'm sure that's fine.
My thinking is if we could find out, and it's true they may not know, but if we were to find out how, then we could perhaps, from finding out how, we could then determine who, and then with the who, we could find out the why, and then with the why, we could find out the what.
Oh, yeah, isn't that the 3 W's?
More than 3 Dranka, but that's okay.
Okay.
Okay, just to be simple, what I'm saying is if you know how it started, like for example, what if it's like one wizard, who casts a big spell, and if we were to just defeat one wizard, then all demons go back. Or at least if it was like one person responsible, then we could go talk to them, find out how to reverse it.
No.
Drag, what do you mean by no?
Just no.
No.
Refuses to elaborate.
No, I don't understand. I don't. Hello? Don't. No. No. You figure this one out. I'll take a break.
I'm gonna telepathically speak to the party for the next few minutes. I'm not gonna include Draga in the conversation. No, I'm joking. Okay, so we still have 2 more for today, yes?
Yes, I think so.
Past and future, yes?
Yes.
Why don't we ask both ends? How did the demons come here, and then we go and we see how they're defeated. Sounds
Makes
good.
sense to
Yes,
me.
no?
Could work, yeah.
And I believe I'm correct with and then we can just ask more questions tomorrow.
I certainly hope we have the ability to do that.
I think he said that we do.
Because I believe that the question about the maze engine would actually have been better used for today, the present, but, I guess we'll have to test that out tomorrow, and hopefully they'll be a little acquiescent for that.
If we have enough time, we could possibly try and get some more of these crystals.
I wonder though, would the maze engine also be a good opportunity on how to ask that about the past? How did that come into being?
I mean, these are all good questions. I guess let's start with the idea of the crystals. So, in case we only have finite guests, what is your thought, Nix? We just go and ask?
I mean, it worked the first time.
And your thoughts would be that each of the stone giants has one.
I mean, maybe they know where to get them if they don't have them. And while we're there, we can ask the question.
Lead the way then.
Okay. I'll do that. And then she just walks off. Heading towards, I guess, willing to appear with the past stone speaker. Stone speaker? Stonekeeper.
Stonekeeper, correct. Ulthar. So you find yourself wandering your way through the library, not for very long, and you eventually find yourself with the keeper of the past. No check required. It's mostly learning. Once you guys learn, it's fairly simple. Keeper of the past, you find, is sorting and filing a variety of ancient texts, and he has a massive catalog. And the room itself is so massive, it extends far beyond sight in almost every direction, shelves upon shelves upon shelves, to your left, to your right, in front of you, and you can see as you look forward, it climbs both up as well as having a pit that descends as well, and it climbs down. Obviously, the future becomes the present becomes the past, as does everything eventually. The past being quite large. He is sitting and organizing a new apparent collection of crystals and stone tablets that are being maneuvered around by Galabdur, and he is moving things and sorting, pointing them in directions. The Galabdur taking directions from him and then moving it off in the appropriate direction that he indicated. And you also notice the Galabdur have some subterranean lizards as beasts of burden to move the very, very large tablets from the archives of the present. So as you make your way in, he looks up at you, and he seems less pressed than did. He seems less pressed than did Ermas. I'm getting some garble.
I was about to say, is something wrong?
I think it's Strong Gun Smoke's mic. Just low feedback.
Mm-hmm. I for one cannot believe that they've done this.
How dare they give us feedback?
Can you guys hear me?
Are you still
Yeah.
getting the feedback? We were just muted that for the majority of that.
We were
Not when you were
hearing it
muted.
while you.
Yeah.
Not when you were muted or talking. I just want to make sure that you could hear me. I don't want to cut you out or make you miss something.
We could hear you. We were getting
feedback from everyone at that point.
There's some choppiness going on. I'm not sure what that was. Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird because I heard the choppiness when the two of them were muted, but it was coming through choppy on Tony's end for some reason. It seems fine
So they're
now.
muted.
Yeah.
When they're muted or talking, it doesn't seem to cause the feedback. So as long as they can hear me, we'll just keep rolling.
All right.
Aha.
You do
Well, I hope
notice
we'll keep rolling.
that.
I mean, he's proven to be pretty useful.
Yes,
sorry.
indeed.
Ha.
You notice that Ulthar is much less harried than. Let's see, who'd we lose? Nobody.
Very strange.
So you notice that Ulthar is much less harried, much less moving with a sense of urgency than the keeper of the present, Ermos. He is almost happy, as stone giants would be, turning to see you, and he is makes his way over to you when you enter the room without you coming to him. If any of the I will need a little bit of feedback. I've been playing with my voice modifier. I use it for my character on Monday Night Game too. But if you don't understand it, I will need to know.
Are you able to understand this one easily enough?
Not understandable for me.
Not a problem. So let's see.
It just seemed a little quiet.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand that.
None.
Other way.
No problem. So when you walk in, he makes his way over to you and seems almost excited. And he says in a slow, melodious, giant voice, "You are figments from the dream above, are you not?"
Some of us, maybe.
I had heard of your arrival. Figments of the dream always have wisdom and knowledge to share. What brings you to my archives?
Oh, well, we were wondering if you knew anything about the maze engine. And also, if you had any other Stonekeeper crystals. We only have one.
The maze engine. That will require some research in the use of a stone speaker crystal. I do have more. We do not typically allow more than one to visitors. We tend to gift one to keep to any library granted entrances.
Oh, I see.
You are allowed to keep the crystal you have, but we have a limited ability to create them. The maze engine brings to mind a device whose origin predates most civilizations in the North Dark. I believe it originates from Mechanus and can be found deep in an area of the Underdark far to the south known as the Labyrinth. Its precise location will be likely undetectable as it probably shrouds itself and possibly even moves. You will need to find a guide in the labyrinth itself who knows its current location rather than its past locations.
The spirit's just trying to recall if there would be anything that she would remember or recognize off the name of Mechanus.
That is a religion check.
Or a religion
as well.
check.
I will take both of them, whichever you get higher in. Planes of existence have to do. There you go. Planes of
Nice.
existence do have to do with the study of religion in the outer planes, but you do recall some, especially history and religion. Mechanus is known as the plane of existence where the aspect of law and order are incarnate, with the aspects of law and order being dominant. It is also one of the places where you can find mechanical beings. But that is all you recall.
Yeah, that sounds about right for what Spirit would probably recall. It's just the name Mechanus sounds kind of, it would sound remotely familiar to her because her mentor being an artificer in regards to mechanical beings. That would probably be something I would imagine she would probably imagine him probably mentioning it at some point, but probably not going into any real great detail. So, at least that's how I justify it. Like, yeah, so just basic information, but anything strictly useful. All right, fair enough.
Can you tell us anything else about the labyrinth? Or have we used up our crystal for the day?
He smirks and says, I am not a provider of visions that is granted by the crystal. I will answer as much as I can, but I would prefer a trade of knowledge.
Oh, I think we have lots of that, right? And Nyx looks at the rest of the party. Hopefully.
Of some knowledge.
The spirit just kind of shrugs and says, I'll be willing to help out however I can.
In fact, we have great knowledge.
I say, ask away.
My interest is in each of your histories.
Oh, well, okay. Spirit just wordlessly defers to Roland.
Yep. Roland proceeds to go through his entire 225-year life.
And you
That'll
notice
take
that
a few hours.
Dronga passes out.
is happy to listen. He seems extremely patient as a librarian of the past seems as would need to be, and he listens intently, taking a little note here and there.
Nyx is also listening intently and taking notes.
I'm assuming in the last, I don't know, 5 minutes of your 2-hour speech,
You mentioned something about how we found Dawnbringer?
Probably, yeah. He has a very good memory. I don't, but he does.
Upon you like mentioning that we found it, I would just chirp in, "Oh, and that would be based on the knowledge of." Sorry, I pushed to talk. Oh my god!
It's not me. Don't blame me.
Holy fuck! Okay, that would be based on the knowledge of well, the great and vulnerable Anton, wizard from Waterdeep. Does the
Yes.
Stonekeeper write that down?
He does. He takes notes. You do notice he's writing and referencing. Essentially, he seems to be referencing you guys and your lives. And I mean, he's not hiding it. He's taking it down, but he's referencing all of Roland's history and Anton and Waterdeep and you as figments of the dream. He's essentially describing your life as a figment in the dream and your experiences in the dream and what your interactions with other figments in the dream have amounted to. But he seems very interested. And once you have answered all of, you've provided the information. Not that he required it; he prefers it. He is happy to answer your question, but he does request that you restate the question next so that he has a full understanding.
Oh, yes. We were just wondering if you know anything about the location of or the history of the labyrinth. Capital L, I assume. Capital T too, probably. The labyrinth.
He tells you the labyrinth is a location in the Underdark to the south. It is a network of interconnected tunnels that have grown very dangerous of late. It is currently claimed by many of the creatures having to do with Bahamut. Do you have a map, possibly? Or that I could use?
Do we have a map?
Yeah.
We do have a map.
Okay.
One of you has it though.
Probably me.
He takes a look at the map you give him, and he essentially makes a area, marks off this area, or points to this area that's already marked off as the labyrinth.
The little square
He
place?
tells you that no, that entire area.
Oh. Oh no.
That well, obviously it's extended, but
the kidney shaped place.
Correct. Tells you that it is an area frequently mentioned. It is essentially the labyrinth was much like any other part of the Underdark in our records, consisting of many large natural caverns, tunnels connecting them, rivers, and through the millennia, the discovery of precious metals led the gnomes and the dwarves and others to excavate, extending its tunnels, expanding its caves and caverns. The result of those efforts saw an insignificant portion of the North Dark and mid-dark, to be transformed into what is now a vast, sprawling network of passages. This included the use of earth elementals by the Svirfneblin. They were able to burrow through the earth at rates that would be shocking over hundreds of years. This is now called the Labyrinth. Abandoned settlements within the Labyrinth are common. They are outnumbered by the abandoned mines and mine shafts that stretch in numerous directions, rifts, and things of that nature. It is called the Labyrinth because it is extremely easy to become lost. And as I mentioned as of late, it has become an area favored by Baphomet, but it is also contested by Yenogu at the moment. Last I heard, you may need to visit the archives of the present to get updated information.
As I figured. So we know the general location, we just don't know the exact precise location.
Well, maybe if we're very friendly and have some money, we can get someone to guide us through the labyrinth, hopefully? I'm sure there's nice gnolls.
I'm confident I could handle that actually, but a guide is always an extra benefit.
Oh,
The spirit just kind of like again crosses her arms and just kind of squeezes one of her biceps and just kind of like gets lost in thought. Kind of get the feeling that even the stonekeeper of the present wouldn't know the information exactly on where the Maze engine would be located. Much as I hate to admit it, trying to locate it ourselves would probably be our best bet.
Well, the visions are even more than the stonekeepers could know, right? So, a vision using the stone crystal here could perhaps show us, maybe not where the labyrinth is, but where the maze keeper is within the labyrinth. So then later on, we might have enough knowledge to connect the dots.
Well, it could be worth a shot.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a communal vision, right?
It is.
All right.
It's more of an area. Like if you're in the area when it's activated, everyone gets the vision, but like you have to be there. You can't be somewhere else.
You just had to be there.
Exactly. Ulthar says, "Thank you for the glimpse into the dream. I beg your forgiveness for being unable to give you another crystal."
Oh, that's okay.
Is there anything else I can assist you with?
No, I don't have anything.
No, not at this time. I don't think.
The spirit just wordlessly shakes her head.
So let's use the crystal, yeah?
Yep, so now we can see one more time into the present?
Past.
Sorry. Yeah.
You get one for the past, one out for the future, and then tomorrow. I mean, for all I care, if you guys are just looking to ask the questions, you guys don't necessarily need to just say, okay, we want to take a long rest. It's essentially one long series of gathering information, wandering the library, but it's essentially, as I said, it's intended for you to kind of think in more than one dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it hurts.
It hurts
I'm
so
not,
good.
I'm not sure which dimension hurts, but one of them does.
So, where do you guys want to go to first? Archives of the past or future?
We were already in the archives of the past, weren't we?
Nah,
Might
present.
as well.
Present. Oh.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we are now. Yeah, sorry. My bad.
Yes, I just want to make sure that you guys, I had an understanding of what your aim was.
Well, let's do the vision quest first, and then head over to the future and bother. Where did I write his name down? Ustova about something.
You guys want to go see the other librarian before or after your question? I just want to make.
Question first. We'll do the past question first.
Because
Yep.
we'll forget otherwise.
Okay.
And the past question we're looking for is oh, it's gone from my brain. It left. Someone help me.
I keep wanting to call it the Maze Runner, but or is it called the Maze Runner?
No.
Maze Engine.
No, Maze Engine.
Shit. It's a good movie though. Yeah, where's the Maze Engine? And not just like hopefully it'll be like not just it's in Labyrinth. Well, even if it just guides, like shows us what Labyrinth is, that's still a good step, right?
That's fair. I guess we'd be asking where was the Maze Engine recently, because we are told it probably moves around. Does that make sense?
It
Yep.
does.
Makes sense to me. Dronga, not
Yep.
so much.
It's okay. It doesn't make sense to Malachi.
You guys holding the crystal, asking the question, and the crystal seems to gain some energy from the phase res around it before being prematurely powered down. As you guys take stock, you seem to reach the conclusion that some magic is protecting the maze engine itself. It moving around and being relocated is seemingly not the only thing it has in terms of protection.
Would we know if that means that the vision is lost, or if we would still have one?
There was no vision granted, so it was not lost.
Okay.
Nice.
That's a plus in a way. We don't lose the vision, but well, hey, this this still helps in a way. Sometimes lack of information is information in of itself.
Mm-hmm. Very wise spirit. Well, what other questions should we ask?
Well, the other option was how did the demons, like major demons, demon lords, enter our plane?
Yep, I'm okay with that.
Maybe to be specific is to be good, and so we should say, how did Demigorgon get here?
That sounds like a good plan.
Okay. So you ask, how did Demigorgon get here? So
Get to the material plane. Yeah.
right.
If we want to be specific.
Shortly after you start finishing your question, the crystal draws in the energy from that around it, the phase res, before warping the atmosphere around you, and you guys are thrust into a vision. You see a Kawatoa swimming in the gloomy depths of a dark subterranean lake. The creature is uncertain. It swims to the left before turning back to the right, seeming to try to find something. Even as you see it is being surrounded, almost herded, by fanged creatures that do resemble manta rays. Those of you who had the unfortunate experience of being in Slubludop recall these Ixochatinal as demonic rays that were eating the Kawatoa running into the water. The Kawatoa, though, smiles at these rays, its needle teeth gleaming in the darkness. It seems to have seen something, and it understands a new secret. And its already unhinged Kawatoan mind is ripped deeper into madness as it curls in on itself. Its arms are extended in worship. This creature is now circled in the rays, swimming in a circle. You see two tentacles emerge from the depths, followed by two howling baboon heads that seems to be climbing out of the depths of the dark lake. If you are curious and you missed it, this is Demogorgon. Prince of Demon Lords. And as that vision fades, you find yourselves standing back inside Gravenhollow in the archives of the past.
Well, that was mildly unsettling.
I still feel like it was scarier in person.
You're not wrong.
As you guys are reacclimating yourself, you see two figures coming down one of the impossibly long hallways, aimed either directly for you, directly for the librarian, or the door, all of which are in close proximity as he approached you. One of the figures is a withered, ancient looking drow in flowing robes of a dark green. The other, walking behind him off his shoulder, is a hulking, gray skinned monster that resembles like a massive frog or toad, but humanoid, bipedal, and spiky. Its mouth is full of razor sharp teeth. The drow's face seems to be pinched and lined, indicating his extremely old age, giving how drow tend to age slowly. As he is approaching you, you all notice his eyes narrow as he sweeps appraisingly as he walks directly up to the group.
Uh-oh. They look real, right?
They do look real. They do appear to be solid rather than partially translucent. The drow greets you, all of you, saying, "You are not echoes. I am Vizirin Devere. This is my companion. He is here to protect me and has no other purpose except to ensure my health. His name is Clev, but if you do mean me no harm now or in the future, you may disregard his presence as insignificant." I heard of another group here from my time, and I came to ask, what is your purpose that brings you to Gravenhollow?
I say in my mind to Smoke, should we tell him the truth or keep that to ourselves?
Alex ran to the bathroom. I don't know if he would answer that. I'm like, what would he say?
Let's take a 5-minute break. Everybody can take a leak, get a drink, or both.
Okay.
You know, whatever makes you happy. I'm going to take a picture of this dog because she is tired and pissed off.
Cranky.
Well, I gave her half a Benadryl and a CBD dog treat. I mean, she's 15 years old, for fuck's sake.
That is one lucky fucking dog.
Oh, what do you want, kitty?
Tony, just to clarify, when the drow was talking about his death sod companion, he said if we had met him in the past or in the future to disregard him as insignificant?
If you mean him no harm, if you mean the drow no harm, then his bodyguard should be ignored.
Oh, okay.
I have a response to Roland's question when we're ready.
Yeah, okay.
I'm also back. I was just muted. Sorry.
Ready to go. Go ahead with your response.
I would tell him, and I'm saying this to like everyone in the party. I would tell him that we are emissaries or agents of Bregan the Earth, and that we are doing research on the causality of the demons and attempting to find a way of defeating them.
Are you going to say it or do you want me to say it?
I think Nick should say it.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we're emissaries from Brigand the Earth, and we're here to find out information about the demon lords that are walking around, and hopefully find a way to defeat them. That's right, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
No, you got it pretty much right on.
First try.
I couldn't have done it.
The drow seems a little surprised. You detect it slightly at the mention of Bragan Dierth, but he regains his composure and says in a approving manner, I also came to look into the demon lords. You do not seem to be creatures of the Underdark, but I oppose the tyranny of Loth and her filth-ridden priestesses over the centuries. This kind of demonic invasion must be tied to them in some way. I came to Gravenhollow to confirm my suspicions and make plans to correct the damage of Loth and her priestesses. I would suggest you look into Minzo Baranzan and its Archmage Gromf Bainray, who uses his talent for the art to further the agendas of the pathetic priestesses.
Real quick interlude on that. What does Nyx look like right now?
Nyx looks like a drow.
A female, no less?
Yes. But it's not behaving like one. Like I feel like he probably would pick up on that too.
Yeah, Smoke. I think Smoke would telepathically say to Nyx, keep in mind, the female drow are the master race. So this male drow saying bad things about the females should be angering for you.
Oh yeah, that's true. Uh-oh. Nyx does their level best to look pissed off. And they look nonplussed.
He seems to give no regard to you or your anger before he looks over at you.
Archmage's name written down. Just wanna.
I can write that down for you.
I mean, I will never forget it, so don't worry.
I already have.
Gromp Bienri.
Oh yes.
Let me make sure I spell this right. I want to make the last name I always misspell. Vizirin looks at you, seeming to take the party in one more time, saying, I have chosen a room in the eastern hallway. You may, if you wish, seek me out to compare notes. But I am looking to develop not only knowledge, but a plan. And I would be interested in possibly working together to advance this goal.
Yes, I suppose. We could see what we can do about that.
Did he give us a house name?
Devere.
House Devere?
Yes.
Okay.
You should over on the right, it should be images, and then you should have the only images that should appear from the banner on the right are the ones that have been shared. If no one says anything to him, he walks out.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, Nyx would just say, "It was a pleasure meeting you." Noticeable, like the voice is noticeably different.
He doesn't even seem to break a stride as he walks past you through the door out of the archives of the past.
Oh, thank you for reminding me. I totally forgot. I haven't spent too much time around other drow.
No problem. I only know I think the basics about their culture. For example, House of Air does not. Well, I don't know. Would that ring any bells from my time in service to Breaking the Earth?
It would.
In terms of like the hierarchy, I mean, they're not close to Beandry anyways, right?
The House de Vere does not exist. It was wiped out a long time ago.
Whoa.
By drow standards, which means all the ruling females were killed.
Ah, that makes sense.
And I would know that often when that type of thing happens, the remaining members of that household end up in Breaking the Earth, right?
Some particularly skilled males will be adopted by other houses, flee the city in exile, be adopted into Breaking the Earth, which is the same as you get to stay. You just can't use your same name.
Point being, he could actually be ally, because I am assuming he either is with Breaking the Earth, like we are, kind of, or he would be at the very least not aligned with a house. Likely, I guess we could ask him outright. Which is to say that if he was directly related to one of the ruling houses of Menzo Baranzan, I would say we could not trust him.
Right. I know nothing about drow politics and houses. It's beyond me.
Well, you at least know that they like to enslave those who are not them.
That's true. I do know that.
Well, it couldn't hurt, I suppose, to try and talk to him more later.
Yes, perhaps we should go do the future vision first, and then and also talk to the final librarian, and then maybe talk to this drow after.
Vizarin.
Now, you guys can go to the archives of the past, present, or future without talking to the librarian. That's where the librarians tend to be, so you can talk to them there, but you don't need to.
We, it could be helpful, though. At least meet him.
True.
Can't hurt.
And I mean, like, we got a lot of good information out of Althar there.
Mm-hmm. So on to the Library of the Future.
Okay. Heading to the Archives of the Future, you enter, and the Archives of the Future has a engraving above it that reads, "The future is a song we remember, but we cannot rush to its end, lest we destroy its melody." And the Keeper of the Future is a stone giant named Eustova, and she seems to have a area around her in the middle of the archive with a collection of crystals and very meditation centric area. She seems to have some inscription things and transcription things near her, and she is sitting in meditation. Seems she is engaged in either meditation or visions. When you walk in, she kind of looks up at you, opening one eye, and then watching you to see if you're approaching her or going about your business.
Nix, this is you.
Okay. Nix hurries over to Stova.
As you make your way over to her, she gives you her attention. She seems almost relieved to not be in a vision, slightly more relaxed on her stone giant features.
Hello. I hope we're not interrupting anything. Or will be interrupting anything?
You are not interrupting anything except continuous visions of death and blood.
Oh.
An
Lovely.
interruption I am not sad for.
Well, okay. Then I will say we'll try to take up as much of your time as possible.
How may I help you?
Well, we were wondering if you knew anything about the demons that are wandering around on the material plane right now, or will be wandering around in the future, or oh dear. And if you knew anything about what becomes of them and us.
Visions of the future are not easily discernible from what will be as much as it is potential for what may be. The demon lords have sent powerful ripples through most possible futures of chaos and fire and blood, death, signs and portents, bloody spirals, and twin forks of Demogorgon, the excessive growth and rot of Zuktmoy, the slime of Juiblex, and on and on. My visions are nigh useless while these cancerous growths infest our world.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll try to do something about that, I suppose.
But so, like, are there any scenarios where you see the demons defeated? I mean, we want what you want.
There are some visions that show potential, but they do not lay out the steps to accomplishing them. That is not how visions of the future work, unfortunately. They are not guides as much as glimpses of the world as it might be, not how to achieve the world.
Hmm.
So, if, for example, we were to do a vision of Blingdenstone in 4 years from now, they might show us what Blingdenstone might look like, but even then, that is but a potential future.
To look forward 4 years for Blingdenstone, you would find visions of death and destruction, the majority of the cases, with small glimpses of potential futures where that is not the case. None of which will show you how to achieve or avoid that future.
So, being an expert of this, could you help us? What should we look for in the future to perhaps assist us in the now?
The most you will likely find by looking into the future will be visions that will motivate you by seeing what could be done if you are able to alleviate this plague, or what will transpire if you or someone else is unable to do so. They are unlikely to provide you with any relevant information on how to achieve it.
Still lead us in the right direction, I suppose.
Or show us the direction we wish to travel into. Does anyone have a future they wish to know a potential of?
None particular, except what if we gave like a scenario of like, if we do this, will we defeat the demons? And then we see the future, and then no. I don't know.
Oh, we could probably come up maybe something about Grazit, maybe.
You'll have to remind me what we're doing with Grazit.
Oh, well, you see, we saw, Smoke and I yesterday, or whenever time, yes, anyways, before we went to bed, we met a weird man from the past. He had very nice teeth, and he said his name was Grazit.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure that makes him a demon lord, and we kind of told him that right now there's demon lords walking around. He seemed happy about that.
I forgot you told us about him.
Wait, you did what?
Well, we didn't know he was a demon lord.
Well,
Until
how
he
in the
walked away.
fuck did you figure that out?
Well, I'm still not sure. But I don't think many people name their kids Grazit.
But you're pretty sure?
Pretty sure.
Well, we're fucked.
But we could see, like, how in trouble we are, right?
Yeah, I agree. We could see what his role in this is.
Maybe he's the key to killing them all and sending them back.
Could be.
It was better than the idea that I had, so why don't we try it?
All right, crystal time.
Crystal time.
All right, state your question, please.
So what we want to know is... This is tough, actually, how to phrase this, because I feel like now
Yeah.
I'm saying it, it feels like it might be more of a question for the present. But, someone help me out here, too.
You could say, like, what role does Grazit play in the future with the Demon Lords? I don't know.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Show us what... actually, you know what? Maybe I'm not gonna... Maybe don't show us what happens if Grazit achieves his goals.
maybe more specifically, like the Demon Lords, plans or ploys in the Underdark.
Yeah.
Okay, so phrase the final question.
Show us the end goal of the Demon Lord's time in the Underdark.
Verify you said Demon Lords?
Lords plural, right, gang? Not one in particular?
Yep, Lords.
I mean...
Unless he mentioned any specific lord.
There would be... well, we know the Demogorgon for sure.
Weren't we thinking Grazit?
Yeah, but Grazit. Yeah, what's Grazit's end goal in the Underdark? Let's see that.
So you want to start with Grazit rather than the Demon Lords?
Yeah, I feel like the Lords plural is... I can kind of guess. I think.
Yeah, a lot of fucking dead shit, yeah.
Yeah. I can kind of also guess Grazit's as well, but let's see what happens.
So you get shown a series of visions with Grazit, and most of them involve him maneuvering through the Underdark, taking very few actions that tie with any other demon. You notice that his actions don't seem to be the same as Demogorgon's looking to cause chaos, death, and destruction. More of his own version of control and manipulation. You see him in some versions going to Gracklestug to fight the influence of Demogorgon, and some you see him moving through Blingdenstone, turning the parts of the Sphere of Neblin to lust and things of that, and greed and sin, him reveling in Menzoberranzan and accentuating their already vile proclivities to new heights. You see him making his way to the surface, and in some you see him being cast back into the abyss.
Well, I don't know what I expected, but I suppose... And it is the Grazit we saw.
It is very much so.
Oh, well, that confirms that, at least. It is. We did actually tell the Demon Lord of Pleasure that demons are walking on this plane in our time.
Which seems bad, but at the same time,
He
he was,
probably knew.
and he was, even if he didn't know about, say, Demigorgon or the rest of them, he himself was walking on the prime material plane in a different time.
Yep.
I think the yeah, we're not surprised by the result of that. Maybe it just confirms if we were to somehow try to make a deal or manipulate the demon lords to fight each other or something like that. Grazix is an example of how if you play to their wants or needs, you can actually maybe manipulate them slightly. I don't know how I possibly know how we could even do that, but like, just Grazix does not want the destruction that Demigorgon wants.
Not in the same manner. Grazit tends to not walk into a city and wipe it out with fire and blood and destruction as much as he manipulates those in the city to throw themselves into debauchery. But the end generally is not pleasant. It's a long road, but the end is roughly the same. Two people killing each other over lust for a thing aren't less dead.
It's really more self-destruction than anything else, than um, outright demolition through war.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is where if there is a chance to use or manipulate, that is knowing what they want is the main point, right? Like, for example, if I wanted to manipulate you, Spirit, I would use your family. Yes.
Her face tightens up at this, but she doesn't. She doesn't say anything one way or the other.
Just as if you wanted to manipulate me, you would use my desire to make my father's name have meaning. It is just to say that, if, and again, I have no idea. This is just knowledge worth having. If there were an opportunity, like Grazix would almost certainly destroy or banish Demigorgon if it meant Grazix could have more of what he wanted. And I think Demigorgon would probably do the same to Grazix if it meant Demigorgon could destroy more in his way.
I can see the logic in that.
You're not wrong on that. But one must be careful with fighting fire with fire, lest one gets severely burned.
Well, I guess what now?
Question for the ages. What would be the best course of action? Because Smoke does bring up a good point. If there's any possible ally we could potentially look into in terms of getting the demons to fight amongst themselves, Grazit would probably be the our best option. But then there's that Drow. As much as I despise them, I hate to throw our lot in with a demon lord to try to get them on, Because the thing about the Demon Lord is that as an ally, he would not be what we would consider a friend of any sort. The Demon Lord is going to be our enemy, regardless of how we try to manipulate and use him for our own ends. One way or the other, we're going to have to take care of him just as readily as everyone else. But if that drow has a possible method of getting rid of all of them, probably wouldn't hurt to hear him out.
My advice to you guys is think of the future archives are going to be less than useful. My advice would be to tailor any questions for the future archives very narrowly, but you have the ability to ask many questions. There are settlements around the Underdark. There are, numerous demon lords are now around the Underdark. You have information about quite a bit of what's going on. Pairing up with the drow is an option. You'll have to look at that. But my advice to you is to have a purpose. Think between this game and next and think about what your purpose is going to be. What are you trying to do? Are you going to team up with the drow and look into specifically what it is you're going to be trying to do? Are you going to work with him on a plan? Or are you going to come up with your own plan? He gave you a tip to look into. This is not intended to be a situation where you have 10 visions, you need to get them all, and then you have enough information. That's not what this is. Your time in Gravenhollow is a perfect distillance of all of D&D. Stay as long as you want. You can leave right now, and you could still easily come up with a plan and get things done, or you could stay for the next 10 games and just ask as many questions as you want, and I will give you the best information that you can get. Some of them will be red herrings. Some of them, not intentionally, just, it may not be related. What are the Kawatoa of Slubludop doing now? You can get that information. Will it be exceptionally useful in getting rid of the demon lords? Probably not. So the reason why I say have a purpose is because you guys can go on and on as far as you want, because this is a library that's been here for millennia and eons. So work with the drow, think about your questions, and then ask the questions that you think you need to get the information you need and move on. That would be my advice to you. If you're going, you can't. Go ahead.
I say,
I was just gonna...
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I was
No, you hang up first.
Yeah. Let's say the only questions at least Spirit would probably be thinking of would be like, so we know of Demogorgon, we know of Grazit, we know of Zagutmoy, Jubilex was mentioned, so that's 4. Exactly how many of these fuckers are actually out there now? And how many are
All of
more?
them.
All of them. All of them. Oh, God.
Oh, good.
How many of them
Except for
are
the
there?
Frost Maiden, she has her own campaign.
So, like,
I guess she's technically a god.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Yeah, but yeah, her 2 burning questions are like, how many demon lords are there, and how many are we having to deal with at this current moment in time? How many are we going to have to deal with before this whole thing is done? And is there any other powers at play that we aren't aware of that might be, involved in this as well? I believe the drow mentioned the Spider Queen Lolth is she involved in this in some way, shape, or form? But
We also have to imagine that there's other forces that are interested in stopping demonic incursion on the material plane.
I would assume so. Yeah. So
It's got to be.
Well, I mean, if Vizerin is to be believed, that's one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who believes a drow though? Like,
Mhm.
come on.
I think it'd be worth coming up with questions, but I also think that like we could just find ourselves like finding a shit ton of information and then not really having a purpose for it, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. If I was a fighter, I'd say like, fuck it, let's just go and try and fight these fucking demons. But
I will say this. When you guys during the next game, you guys are going to get what's the right word? Indicators towards a good direction that you can go when you leave Gravenhollow.
Nice.
You don't have to, but you can work in conjunction with Vizerin or not at all. There is people you can work with. You can work with Vizerin, you can refuse to work with Vizerin. You can work with others that Jarlaxle, or you can come up with your own plan. You guys have played with me for a long time, but even though I am a sandbox style DM, it is built into the game of D&D that if you come up with a reasonably plausible way to banish demons back to the abyss, demon lords, you could do that. But not wanting to reinvent the wheel, it tends to be something that you work in conjunction with people. It's just who you want to work with. Vizier Devere is an archmage, probably 900 years old. So he has experience with drow who have experience with demons. There are others that you will run into who also have experience. It's just, who's better in a bar fight? The holy man or the pirate?
The Holy Man might surprise
It's
you.
not. He might, but it's not where I'd put my money.
That's fair. I do think we should at least try talking to Vizerin and see what he has to, because he sounds like he also already has done some research. He might have some ideas.
If you guys come up with any questions, I have a list of visions that I've kind of predicted that you might ask questions about. But given your propensity to go off script, feel free to send me any questions that you're even thinking about. That way I can have something prepared for you. I mean, I'm good at making stuff up on the fly, but it would help you get something more developed.
Fair enough.
Why don't we try and put stuff in the group chat?
Yeah, we'll make better use of it this week.
Yeah, definitely. I'll post some stuff and outline something that I was thinking of, but I wasn't entirely certain on how to present it in character.
Oh, actually, I'm gonna be on. No, wait, not next week. Not next week. The week after, I'll be on vacation, so I won't be able to play. But that's 2 weeks from now, so that's good.
Fair enough. Well, I hope you guys have a good week, and I will see you next week.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
See you next
Sounds
week.
good. Bye, guys.
GG, everyone.
See you later.
Take care.